I don't want to alarm anyone, but I think Hugh Edwards' butt's just been given a job on BBC News. Look, this is what you remember. They blanked out his arsehole on that picture of Hugh Edwards. This is what his arsehole actually looks like. This is his replacement. They replaced Hugh Edwards with Hugh Edwards' butt.
India has expelled a senior Canadian diplomat.
India has expelled a senior Canadian diplomat. He sounds like a guy who came in. I used to work in a Virgin megastores, and it got went into administration one Christmas, like in Christmas Eve, and they sent in these administrators from Ernst and Young, and the guy came in to speak with us all. He's like, "They're going to administration. I'm from Ernst and Young. We know that this message is scary for you, but don't worry about it." And we were like, "Oh man, this person is such a highbrow, but he can't even commute. We don't even understand what he's saying." I can't look at people that look like Hugh Edwards saying this, but I'm going to look at this. I'm doing this for you.
Relations between the two countries worsen over allegations by the Canadians that Indian agents might have been involved in the murder of a Canadian Sikh activist.
Oh, wow. Indian intelligence is being accused of killing a Canadian Sikh activist, or Canadian Indian Sikh activist. And so Justin Trudeau is trying to show how angry he is about these sort of things. Well, he's done much worse in his time. I mean, God, the amount of people he killed over the past few years.
Hardeep Singh Nijjar was shot dead outside a temple in British Columbia less than 3 years after he was designated a terrorist by India. A statement.
It's a bit it's a bit like Orlando Letelier, really, isn't it? It's like they're like, "Oh, we don't like this guy. We're gonna just take him out. We don't care about the repercussions because it's Canada."
From the Indian Foreign
Well, that's not like
Ministry
Orlando
described the
Letelier.
allegations they've been behind his death as absurd and motivated. Earlier,
That was the main difference. Orlando Letelier, it was brazen, and it was done in America. This was Canada, so it doesn't matter anyway, does it? You can kill anyone in Canada, get away with it. What are they gonna do? They're going to transition you, probably.
the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau told Parliament he'd raised the issue with his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi at the recent G20 summit.
Oh, young global
Over the
leader.
past number of weeks,
God, he's so. I mean, when he first came in, he was like this fresh young face. That was one thing. Look at him. He is not going to be so good looking when he's older, is he? They're not going to like him so much. His time has got to come to an end at some point. He is a really horrible human.
Canadian security agencies have been actively pursuing credible allegations of,
well, depending which dad you believe he is,
a potential link between agents of the government of India.
Wait a minute. Credible allegations of a potential link. Credible allegations of a potential link. It feels like there's a lot being given up there. Like they don't really want to say anything here.
Between agents of the government of India and the killing of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar.
Very Canadian name.
Canada is a rule of law country. The protection of our citizens and defense.
Yeah, we saw this in the trucker strikes when they brought in those all of this private security firm to be the police from all around the world. All these what looked like just like bought cops. It was, oh, this is the rule of law. Really the rule of law, where we will break the law to keep the law.
Of our sovereignty are fundamental. Our top priorities have therefore been, one, that our law enforcement and security agencies ensure the continued safety of all Canadians, and two,
it would be really hard to actually be this fake. You know, to actually try and be this fake would be really hard.
That all steps be taken to hold perpetrators of this murder to account.
Can you do me a favor here? As you watch him speak, squint your eyes and think Liam Neeson in Taken and add Liam Neeson's voice over to him. So I'm going to rewind it a little bit. Squint your eyes, Think Liam Neeson in Taken, and then add Liam Neeson's voice.
To hold perpetrators of this murder to account. Canada has declared its
To hold perpetrators of this murder to account.
Deep concerns to the top intelligence and security
Canada is prepared to hold
officials of the Indian government.
I can't
Last
keep
week
doing it.
at the G20.
I know. Last week at the G20, you took my daughter, and now I'm going to get her back. That's a terrible Liam Neeson impression now. Well, I asked you to do it, and then I went and did it myself, and I failed. And I'm sorry to you, and I'm sorry to me. All I've done is make myself look like a poo-poo head.
I brought them personally and directly to Prime Minister Modi in no uncertain terms.
In no uncertain terms, Canada's going to war against India, and India, in response, expels Canada diplomat. I said in no uncertain terms that you're guilty. Okay, get out of the country, please.
Let's go live now to Mumbai, where we can speak to our South Asia correspondent, Yogita Lamaya. Yogita, thank you so much for
Mumbai, diddly diddly
joining us. Just remind us of the details of this case, the background to it.
Go on, remind us.
So Hardeep Singh Nijjar was shot dead on the 18th of June by two masked gunmen outside a Sikh temple in the Canadian province of British Columbia.
Them Sikhs, though, they are hardcore. I mean, really hardcore.
He was a prominent Sikh leader, and he publicly campaigned for a separate homeland for Sikhs in the Punjab region of India.
Wow, a separate homeland split in India. Can you imagine in America, someone says, okay, and has a potential of splitting California away from America, like some people, you know, say should happen. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine what would happen? He would get shot outside a church.
Now, that's the reason why India
By
had
the
issues
CIA.
with him, with everyone who's a part of this movement called as the Khalistan movement, which is campaigning for the separate homeland. India sees it as a challenge to its territorial integrity and sovereignty.
Of course.
And it's this has been one of the big reasons why ties between Canada and India have been strained for a while now. We saw that here at the G20 summit. Frosty ties.
Isn't that the sound you have on those movies like Inception? Sounds like that. India rejects claims in Sikh leader's death.
Between the two countries. But Justin Trudeau didn't attend the president's dinner for all of the heads of state and heads of government who were here, and even during his meeting, the photograph of him with Prime Minister Modi, lots of analysts looking at that said that
lots of analysts looking at that said that Justin Trudeau probably had an erection.
That it displayed
his erection?
Just how frosty those ties have become.
In fact, just how frosty his ties are, if you know what I mean.
It's important to note, isn't it, that Canada has a very sizable population of Sikhs, and that this is potentially why India would have looked towards the activities in Canada with the focus.
What? But there's loads of Sikhs all around the place. I mean, India, the reason why they've targeted this guy in Canada is because the chances that Canada's going to go to war with India, if you run that analysis, right? So your Indian intelligence service, you're like, Jaram, come in here, would you? Yes, sir. What could I do? Oh my God, he turned African at the end. This isn't going to go on. Jaram, we have got this Sikh guy over there, and he is all the way over there. In Canada. Why don't we just kill him? We're going to. Okay, why are you calling me in? So we can laugh about the idea that Canada will attack India. That's what would be happening. There would be a lot of laughing if you were actually to analyze the threat of that. So what's going to happen? Sanctions? Well, the Americans won't get on board with that. The British won't get on board with that. Probably they're not going to say anything about it, are they? No, this is just Canada's going to just spit into the wind, spitting into a massive flatulent arsehole. of globalism.
It has done.
That's right. And India today, in its statement, is accusing Canada, saying that the statement that Prime Minister Trudeau is making is an attempt to shift focus from long-standing concerns that India has had of people residing in Canada, indulging in what India describes as anti-India activities.
So they're saying, no, you're trying to deflect on the fact that Canada has been harboring these terrible terrorists that we got to pop off. Oh, yeah.
Of course, in addition to the allegations and the rebuttal from India, we've also had on the ground.
Look at that. Look at Trudeau. I mean, this is how fake everything is, isn't it? Look at Trudeau and Moody. Moody looks angry. Doesn't he look incensed? And he looks like he's saying, hello, hello, where's your blackface? You always wear blackface. And Trudeau's saying, shh, don't say about the blackface.
Canada's expelled a senior Indian diplomat.
He's holding his arm
India's
and shaking
done a
his
tit
hand.
for tat as well, has said they're expelling a senior Canadian diplomat who they say have 5 days to leave the country. The free trade agreement that was being discussed between...
Right, okay. Can I just say something? I think this video titled India expels Canada diplomat as Sikh murder row escalates should actually be India and Canada expel each other's diplomats. But notice how BBC News focus only on India being the problem. And why would that be?
Between these two countries, that was suspended a while ago, again, because of these tensions.
Oh, look how angry they are. Look how tense
today,
it is.
It's
how
been
they're
a long
holding
time,
hands.
I think, that India-Canada
and they're
ties
still
have been
holding
at
hands. They're talking about how tense it is, and they're holding hands and smiling. Like, look how tense this handshake is. It's going on forever, and they did it in multiple rooms.
Stage.
And is there any indication from the Canadians as to what information, what knowledge, what insight they have to make these allegations?
Well, so if you listen to Prime Minister Trudeau's statements, he has hedged himself. He says that Canadian intelligence are investigating credible allegations of a potential link. So he's used...
They're investigating credible allegations of a potential link. That's what I was saying. Do you see how convoluted it was? How drawn out it was? None of this is anybody actually caring. That Sikh guy, dead as doornail, killed by Indians. No one gives a damn. No one gives a damn because, well, it doesn't suit a narrative, does it? It's not one of the Western intelligence agencies. It's not Arabic intelligence agencies. It's not Middle Eastern. It's not Iranian. It's not anything else that we can say, oh, they're the evil ones. It's not Russian. No, it's Indian. So, yeah, free pass every time. Kill everybody on anybody's soil. That's fine.
The word investigating, he's used the word potential as well. So no evidence provided yet as to what specifically these links are. He said that he expects
the fact that the guy was Sikh and he was shot probably by Indians.
Full cooperation from Indian authorities to investigate these links. He's also said that he's shared this information with allies without mentioning who specifically he's talked to about it, but there are reports in Canadian media that he discussed it potentially with President Biden and with Prime Minister Sunak as well.
Yeah, okay, so Sunak and Biden. Oh, yeah, India is all right. Well, we'll leave you with that, won't we? We'll leave you with that argument. We'll sit over here and talk about Ukraine and other things. You see what Biden's been talking about at the same time. He's been talking about AI, Ukraine, and inequality. Those are the three things that it was in his speech just today or yesterday, where at the same time they're saying, they're not saying much about India, are they at all? Not really, no.
Well, India has been raising concerns about the Khalistan movement and leaders of the Khalistan movement, not just with Canada, but with other countries where there are sizable Sikh populations, like the UK and Australia as well.
Well, it sounds like there's a problem in the world now. We are literally going to have more and more countries like India and China and big countries doing things on our soil and killing off our people and killing off their people on our soil. Because, well, that's what happens when you give safe passage to enemies of another state. And that always has happened. Now, the Americans and the Five Eyes have been doing this, and Israel have been doing this for years and years and years. What's the difference? Oh, India's doing it. What should we do? Oh, nothing. We're not. None of us are going to do anything against the Indians. And anyway, I thought they called them Native Americans.